I want you to think of an electric vehicle brand. What is this brand about? What does it stand for? What is its DNA? Not so easy, is it? Polestar have never had any trouble with this. They know who they are, and they are a brand which is loved by many. And after driving this car for a couple of days, I can kind of see why. Now the Polestar 4 is arriving on European shores with design, performance, practicality, and let's not forget, created in a sustainable and responsible way. It might be the perfect car for Europeans. I bet I know exactly what you're thinking. Isn't Polestar a Chinese brand? Well, Polestar is a brand with Swedish DNA. Its parent company is the massive car group of Geely. But I think it walks the line of benefiting from having a large and mighty parent while also successfully protecting its core values. Sure, it uses architecture from the group, but the strength in Polestar is understanding European users. Then add a sprinkling of world-leading levels of innovation and tech, and what do you get? The Polestar 4 is an SUV. I think SUV is a little bit of a stretch. Coupe SUV is perhaps better, although this is perhaps one of the shorter coupe SUVs that I've seen. I mean, Polestars have never been ugly cars, but they somehow managed to get better looking with each iteration. I mean, just look at this. We have some kind of smooth ridges and bumps like these front haunches here, which kind of give the impression of softness, but also aggression at the same time. And a sleekness that really plays down its 2-meter width. The Thor's hammer headlights, obviously from the native Sweden, have now been split into dual blade headlights, but still look great. And as with other Polestars, we have these frameless side mirrors. So all this gives the Polestar 4 a drag coefficient of 0.26, which falls slightly short of the Tesla Model Y's 0.23. But I think it's important that we maintain this balance of having a car which is aerodynamic while also being great to look at. And I think the Polestar 4 is definitely great to look at, and I would say probably better looking than the Tesla Model Y. Do you agree? Make sure you leave your comments below. So then we get to the rear, and this is where the controversy starts. It looks kind of similar to some other Polestars. Here we have the nice long light bar at the back here, but there's one major difference in that this has no rear window. Instead, it uses a high definition camera. This has got a lot of people very excited, but should they be? And is it really a big deal? No, it's not. In fact, after driving the car for around an hour, you'll forget it's even a camera at all. It's super clear, even at night. It has a hydrophobic coating to make sure it doesn't track dirt or water. I would even argue that it's better than a traditional rear view mirror. But some people will say, oh, but you don't have the sense of depth. And to those people, I would say, do you really think you turning over your shoulder is better than 4 dedicated parking cameras and 12 ultrasonic sensors? In addition, when the boot is open, you can still see out the back from the camera. Now that's something you couldn't do with a traditional mirror. The trunk has a decent 526 liters of space, although there is no window in here. You can open the rear partition, but I wouldn't put my dog in here because, well, I like my dog. There's also some space for charging cables underneath the floor. What do you think of the back of the Polestar 4? Is it nice rear or no idea? Inside the Polestar 4, we have an interior that is both spacious and practical. A balance of minimalism and utility. And because everything in here is made to size, the tailored knit upholstery reduces waste without compromising the look and feel. The fit and finish is really nice everywhere you look. And I don't think there are many brands that can compete with this level of quality. And then there are some EVs that are very busy in the interior. Yes, I'm looking at you, BYD. Here it is less is more, very calm and very understated. In terms of functions, last time I drove the Zeekr 009, which is definitely at one end of the spectrum, and it uses technology to make its driver and passengers feel comfortable. Here, the Polestar 4 is about how we can use great design to make people feel comfortable. We have a nice driver's display here with just your central information like your distance and your battery and your speed, nothing more. Over here, we have a 15.4-inch frameless center infotainment system. I'm not sure what frameless means here, but look at the size of those bezels. This did not come out of a Zeekr factory, but it does give it a more heavy-duty feel. And no physical buttons throughout, except for one here, which is for your music, because of course, you've got to have your tunes. I must say that I'm not a huge fan of this center unit here. It doesn't really fit with the other vibes in this car. We've got some kind of metallic looking materials that we don't really see anywhere else in the car. And I think it would look better if it was just a single color. What I do like is that you have to put your phone right down into this slot here if you want to use the wireless charging pad. So you can forget about what's going on there and focus on the driving. So now we're in the back of the Polestar 4 and we can talk about rear ends again. Yes, so one benefit of this rear end is that it provides a lot of extra space to those sitting on the second row. And for me, I've got my seat in my driver's position and I have a lot of space now, even still. I will say that my knees are quite bent. The floor is a little bit high, but in terms of space, okay. In terms of headroom, I think it's ample. For me, it's a little bit tight. I think because of this kind of coupe design, it tends to cut into the rear headroom a little bit, but Polestar do give you the option of being able to adjust your seating position. It has a slight recline, which can be done on the controls found in the center armrest here. I just hope that no one is sitting here when you want to do it. But for me, I think the best thing about being a passenger in the Polestar 4 is this amazing panoramic full-length sunroof, which again is courtesy of this rear end. It really kind of connects you with the outside in very good ways. Like today, we have a nice autumn scene. We've got some nice different kind of leaves and it looks really beautiful. But similarly, you could be driving home at night and you could have a beautiful starry sky right above you. So in this way, Polestar are really trying to connect you with nature, while at the same time protecting you from those nasty UV rays. So let's get to driving, and driving is perhaps one of the most important parts of the Polestar brand, obviously as a performance kind of racing arm of Volvo. And the Polestar 4 is no different. Even when Polestar's first pure electric car, the Polestar 2, was released, people would often ask me, why should I choose a Polestar? So of course, apart from the practicality, the sustainability, the design, I don't think really any EVs on the market today can offer the level of driving performance that Polestar offers. And nowhere is this more true than in the Polestar 4, the brand's fastest production model yet, with a straight line speed, 0 to 60 speed of 3.8 seconds. If I just put my foot down, we are flying, absolutely flying. But straight line speed is a little bit throwaway in EVs. Where the Polestar 4 wins is bringing drivers a more comprehensive all-round driving experience. Its wide stance means it is very confident in corners, regardless of your speed. And especially in this dual motor version that I'm driving today, the feedback that you get from the road is not like any other EVs on the market today. Which brings me back to my point, which that I think the driving experience is something that is very important to consumers in Europe. And I think Polestar puts forward a very important point, which is that you can get an EV without compromising your enjoyment of driving and your driving experiences. Earlier in this video and other videos have compared this to the Tesla Model Y. Of course, the Tesla Model Y is the best-selling vehicle in the world last year. But there really is no comparison. For the Polestar 4, you really want to keep that enjoyment of driving. And comparing the driving experiences of these two cars, well, they're not even in the same ballpark. I will say that in this version, which is the all-wheel drive version with the larger wheels, the kind of more low-profile wheels, the ride is very firm. So for me at least, I feel like the rear wheel, the single motor rear wheel drive only version would be enough. With a whopping 100 kilowatt hour battery in this bad boy, the rear wheel drive version will give you up to 379 miles or 610 kilometers of WLTP range. Of course, in the all-wheel drive version, this will be a little bit less. However, on the all-wheel drive version, the front motor will engage or disengage as it sees fit to give you that little bit of extra range. Another thing which I really like about this car and driving this car is that it's very well insulated. It's really kind of like a little bit of a slice of your own little personal haven. Very good insulation, and you can barely hear any outdoor noise. It's just so quiet in here. Even at high speeds, of course, you do get some wind noise, but it's very minimal compared to other cars. And it definitely adds to the enjoyment of being in this car. So, what's the verdict? Well, I think the Polestar 4 is an important car because it brings supreme EV driving experiences for those who are curious about an EV, but think that they are all tech and no drive, including those who are having a hard time letting go of their ICE experiences. Now the Polestar arrives with great pricing to around 63,000 euros in the European market. And if you're still on the fence, I mean, just look at it. Design, tech, and performance. It might just be a big hit. What do you think? Would you choose the Polestar 4 over a Tesla Model Y? Make sure you leave your comments. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. I've been Toby, and I'll see you next time.